Hi, welcome to English Composition. I'm Michael Cheng. I'm here with Cher Chen.
各位同学，大家好，欢迎来到英文作文课程，我是 Cher。
Today our topic is Unit 12, and the topic is A Day in Your Life.
好，我们今天要讲解的是单元12，今天的主题是你一天之中的生活。
And so what we will do today is learn how to write a detailed essay about a day in your life.
好，我们今天呢将要学习如何写出一篇详细的短文来描述你一天的生活。
We are going to start by looking at the writing model, which you can find on page 143 of your textbook.
好，我们首先呢先来看一下课本第143页的写作范例。
Right, so our writing motto is about a typical day in a person's life, and we are going to read it together now.
好，我们这篇写作范例的主题呢，是关于一个人典型的一天哦。那我们首先先来看一下这篇文章。
Right, our writing motto begins, Jenny Lee lives the thrifty life of a typical career woman.
好，我们现在来看一下哦。他说呢 ，Jenny Lee 是个过着简约生活的职业妇女。
Jenny gets up at 7 o'clock every morning.
Jenny 每天早上7点起床。
After she gets up, she does aerobics for 30 minutes because she wants to stay healthy.
起床之后，她会做30分钟的有氧运动，因为她希望能保持健康。
After she finishes exercising, Jenny gets ready to go to work.
在运动之后 ，Jenny 准备好去上班。
Jenny buys breakfast at a bakery when she is on her way to the bus stop.
她在前往公车站的路上的面包店买早餐。
Even though she does not like riding the bus, Jenny almost always takes the bus because it is the cheapest way to get to work.
虽然 Jenny 不喜欢搭公车，她仍然每天都搭公车来上下班，因为这是最便宜的一种方式。
Jenny works in an office from 9 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock in the evening.
Jenny 从早上9点工作到下午5点。
Then she takes the bus back home.
接着她搭乘公车回家。
When she gets home, Jenny has dinner with her family.
回到家以后 ，Jenny 和家人共进晚餐。
After dinner is over, Jenny washes the dishes and helps to clean up around the house.
吃完晚餐后 ，Jenny 会洗碗及打扫家里。
When all the housework is finished, Jenny watches TV, studies English, or chats with her friends until it is time to get ready for bed.
当所有的家事都做完之后 ，Jenny 会看看电视、学习英文，或是和朋友聊天，直到上床时间为止。
Jenny is living simply right now in order to save money, but she is planning to go on an independent trip all across Europe next year.
Jenny 过着简朴的生活，因为她想要存钱，但是她明年要到欧洲去做自助旅行。
Right, now you might notice that the writing model in this unit is quite similar to the writing model in Unit 9 in that they both deal with a person's daily life.
好，你可能会发现呢，我们单元12的这一篇写作范例跟单元9的写作范例蛮相似的，因为他们在讲的主题都是一个人的一天。
But this paragraph about Jenny Lee is much more developed because it gives many more specific details about Jenny's life.
但是呢，这个 Jenny 的这个段落相对的发展更多了一些，它提供了更多关于 Jenny 生活的细节。
And so, for example, here's a sentence from Unit 9. It says, "First, I always go jogging in the morning."
好，我们首先来看一下这个在单元9里面有这样一个句子，就是说第一个，我每天都会去慢跑。
And here's a sentence from Unit 12. After she gets up, she does aerobics for 30 minutes because she wants to stay healthy.
好，那但是在单元12之中呢，我们有一个类似的句子，我们讲到说，当她起床之后她会做有氧运动，因为她想要保持健康。
And so now in both of these sentences, the person is exercising, but the sentence from Unit 12 also tells why she's exercising.
好，这两个句子都是在讲这个人在做运动，但是呢，这个单元12的句子也告诉了我们他运动的原因。
And so now these added details about Jenny Lee gives you a clearer picture of what her life is like.
这些增加的细节呢，能够让读者更清楚地勾勒出他的生活。
Now, in addition, let's take a look and see how the information in the body overlaps. So let's take a look at a couple of sentences now.
好，除此之外呢，我们来看一下这些段落中有些资讯是互相重复的，我们来看一下例子。
So we can see in the first sentence, it ends with a piece of new information about Jenny, which is when she gets up, which is 7 o'clock every morning.
好，第一个句子呢，以一个关于 Jenny 的新的一个讯息作为结尾哦。这新讯息就是讲述到当她早上7点起床的时候。
Now, if we take a look at the second sentence, you can see that it makes a reference to the old idea about Jenny getting up.
好，我们看到第二个句子我们可以看到它和旧的讯息做了一个连接也就是她起床的这件事情。
But then at the end of the sentence, it adds a new fact, and this is how long Jenny exercises and the kind of exercise she does.
好，但是在句子的后半段呢，它增加了一个新的讯息讲述到 Jenny 她会做运动这件事。
Now, if we take a look at the third sentence, you can see it continues this pattern of old information followed by new information. So in 3, there's some old information about Jenny exercising.
好，第三个句子呢，它也继续依照着先提出旧讯息，再提出新讯息的模式，先提起了 Jenny 的运动。
And then there's new information at the end of sentence 3, which is that Jenny's getting ready for work.
好，那新的讯息在这第三个句子里面讲到的是 Jenny 准备好要去上班。
And so this pattern of old information followed by new information, which then references the old information again in the next sentence, this helps your sentences flow from one sentence into another sentence.
好，我们刚刚讲到这一个所谓的先提出旧讯息，再提出新讯息这样子的一个模式会使段落里面每一个句子的联系更加的紧密，就像是你的前一个想法紧接着下一个想法那这会造成所有的句子之间它们的这个连贯性更加的强而有力。
And so what we have then is we have strong coherence throughout the paragraph.
好，那我们最后呢就会发现整个篇章它有非常强的这个连贯性。
All right, another thing that you can notice about the sentences or in the paragraph in this unit are that they're more complex than the sentences in Unit 9.
好，另外一件你可以发现的这个不同之处呢你是会发现这个单元12里面的句子用的比单元9的句子来的复杂。
All right, and so here in this unit we have sentences that have 2 adverb clauses.
好，你会发现呢，在这个单元12的范例里面呢，我们有一些句子是含有这个副词子句。
Okay, observe the following sentence. This sentence has 2 phrases that are adverb clauses.
好，我们现在来观察一下这个句子，我们会发现在这个句子里面，它包含了2个副词子句。
So after she gets up is an adverb clause that gives time information.
好，我们会发现 after she gets up 这是一个副词子句它是提供时间的讯息。
And because she wants to stay healthy, this is an adverb clause that gives the reason Jenny does aerobics.
好，另外一个子句呢because she wants to stay healthy 这是一个提供原因的副词子句。
Here's another sentence that has 2 adverb clauses.
好，接下来这一个例子里面也一样含有2个副词子句。
So even though she does not like riding the bus, this gives some contrasting information.
好，我们会发现 even though she does not like riding the bus 这一个副词子句提供了一个对比的意思。
And then because it is the cheapest way to get to work, this gives the reason why Jenny is taking the bus.
好，后面这一段 because 开头的副词子句呢，则提供了原因。
Okay, let's take a little bit of a break now, and we will be back in just a few moments.
好，我们现在先休息一下，待会儿再回来。
Now let's continue to analyze this essay by doing the writing analysis exercises. You can find it at the bottom of page 145.
好，我们接下来呢，继续来做这个写作分析的练习你可以在课本的第145页找到。
And so the first question in the writing analysis is, what is the topic of the essay?
好，我们要问的第一个问题呢是这一篇文章的主题是什么？
And the answer is that the topic of the essay is Jenny Lee's life.
好，那我们知道这个问题的答案是这篇文章的主题是 Jenny Lee 的生活。
Alright, so now do you remember what we learned about the topic sentences in Unit 8? Every topic sentence should have a topic and a controlling idea.
好，那不知道各位同学还记不记得，在单元8里面我们提到过主题句每一个主题句里面都应该包括了主题以及一个控制想法。
So the controlling idea narrows down the topic so it is precise enough to be explained in one paragraph.
好，我们知道呢，这个控制想法呢，应该要这个缩小到够小到一个这个简单的一个主题，那所以它是够清楚能够去解释，用一个段落来做解释。
So now that we know that the topic of our essay is Jenny Lee's life, the next question to ask is what is the controlling idea of the topic sentence?
好，那既然我们现在已经知道我们的主题呢是在讲述 Jenny Lee 的生活，那我们下一个问题就应该来问这个关于控制想法的问题
And so if we take a look at question number 2, it says, what special opinion or idea about the topic does this paragraph focus on?
好，我们看到下一个问题，他问的是，我们这个段落特别着重在哪一个特别的意见？
And so this paragraph focuses on how Jenny is thrifty and how her life is typical of a career woman.
好，那我们知道答案呢？这个段落是着重在 Jenny 是一个过着一个怎么样简约的生活，而且呢，她的生活是如何的和一般的职业妇女一样典型。
Let's take a look at our next question. 3. How are the support sentences organized to make the paragraph logical?
好，我们来看一下第3个问题问题问到说，这些支持的论点是怎么样去做组织的
And the paragraph is organized chronologically.
好，那我们知道答案呢？这篇文章是照着时间的先后来组织而成。
And so this means that the paragraph is organized by time, and we can see that the paragraph starts at the beginning of Jenny's day in the morning, and then it continues on throughout her day until the evening.
好，那我们知道呢，这个段落是从 Jenny 的一天的开始来作为起头，涵盖一整天的时间之后，直到晚上。
All right, if we look at question number 4, it asks, how does Jenny act thriftily?
好，下一个问题是 Jenny 如何表现出她简约的一面？
And so what we'll do is we'll find examples in the essay of how Jenny saves money.
好，我们要回答这个问题的方式呢，是我们回到这个文章里面，我们来找出里面的例子。
And so we can see she takes the bus to work, she lives at home, she eats at home, and she does not go out to play very often.
好，我们会发现呢，她总是搭公车上下班，住在家里，在家里吃饭，而且不常出门去玩。
Right, if we look at question 5 now, question is, how is Jenny's life typical?
好，我们看到下一个问题，他问的是为什么 Jenny 的生活是很典型的呢？
All right, and there are many ways she's typical. First is she works in an office all day, and she lives with her family.
好，我们来看看这个文章中提出来的例子那我们知道她整天都待在办公室工作，而且和家人同住。
And some other typical things are she helps around the house and she watches TV for entertainment.
好，那其他的例子像是她会帮忙打扫家里，会看电视当做她的娱乐。
All right, she also studies or she talks to her friends in the evening, and she wants to travel.
好，那我们知道她晚上会念念书，或者和朋友聊天，而且她想要去旅行。
And now the last question of the writing analysis is, how is the conclusion related to the rest of the paragraph?
好，我们来看到写作分析的最后一个问题问的是这个结尾是怎么样和句中其他的文章中其他的句子做连接。
And so we can see that the conclusion is related to the paragraph because it tells why she is living so simply and so thriftily.
好，我们知道呢，这个结尾和段落中其他的句子有相关，因为呢，他在诉说着 Jenny 是过着这样简单而且朴素的生活的原因。
All right. We also have a repetition of an idea in the topic sentence.
好，我们也重复了主题句的想法
And so one of the controlling ideas is in the topic sentence is that Jenny is thrifty.
好，那其中一个控制想法呢，就是 Jenny 是过着简朴的生活。
And in the concluding sentence, it says that Jenny is living simply to save money. And so living simply and saving money, this is the same concept as being thrifty.
好，在结尾句里面呢，则说到这个 Jenny 过着简单的生活是为了要存钱。那这个概念要存钱的概念和前面提到简约生活的概念是相同的。
All right, now that we've studied a completed essay, we're going to write a new essay.
好，那既然我们现在呢已经把这个仔细研读过了这篇文章哦，那接下来我们要写一个新的短文。
And to start off, let's find out what the typical day is like for some people here in Taipei.
好，那我们首先呢，先来看看一个台北人是怎么样度过他典型的一天。
Let's watch the video now.
During the weekends, I often wake up late at around 10 o'clock. After I get up, I study or read a novel like Harry Potter in my room and listen to music. After lunch, I go shopping and have afternoon tea with my friends. I love to buy shoes most, and for the afternoon tea, my friends and I like to go to a tea house. My favorite things to order are an English muffin and traditional English tea. After dinner, I go home and surf on the internet, chat with friends, or watch TV with my roommates.
I work part-time during the week in a cram school. I often go there in the evening. I take care of students and help teachers there to do some preparation. After the work, I hang out with my colleagues. We go to supper or else see a movie together.
Okay, so we saw two people who are living here in Taipei, and let's talk about how their lives are similar or different from the writing model.
好，我们刚刚呢看到了有两个台北人哦，他在讲述他的一天哦。那我们来看看他们讲述的内容跟我们的写作范例有什么样的不同。
Right, so now the first person, she talked about just what her life was like on the weekend, so she didn't really talk about a working day.
Yes, she didn't.
Okay, and what did we see? So we saw that she liked to get up late.
On Sunday.
And then, what did she read? Do you remember what she read?
She read like Harry Potter.
Yeah, so she liked to read some Harry Potter. Also, she said that she liked to go shopping or she liked to drink tea and that she liked English tea and English muffins.
Yes, and shoes is her favorite.
Yeah. And so some things that were similar were that she had some similar activities to Jenny. She likes to chat with her friends or she liked to stay home and watch TV in the evening for entertainment.
好，那我们刚刚呢看到哦，这个我们第一个访谈中哦，这一位女性哦，她讲到说她一天之中这个进行的一个过程哦，那她提到她早上哦总是起得比较晚，那在这个星期天这一天之中呢，哦，她喜欢去看一些小说啊，像是《哈利波特》哦，那她或者跟朋友哦会出去逛逛街啊，喝下午茶。那我们知道，她到晚上的时候呢，哦，就和我们这个写作范例里面提到的这一位Jenny 是很类似的啊，他们都喜欢在晚上的时候上网跟朋友聊天。
And now the second person was actually very, very different from Jenny. Okay, and so for example, she worked in the evening at a cram school instead of working during the day like Jenny.
Yes, and she stay out with her friends.
Yeah, so actually, instead of going home and just staying at home and relaxing with her family, she usually would go out with her friends late at night. And so probably she's not living like a very simple and thrifty life.
Yes, OK. 好，那我们刚刚看到第二位这一位女性的这个访问哦，那她有提到说呢，她这个会先去做打工哦，在补习班做打工。那之后呢，她通常都会在和朋友出去哦，在外面再稍微做逗留。那我们会发现呢，也许她这个她的这种生活模式和我们刚刚提到 Jenny 的生活不太一样哦，也许她过的并不是像 Jenny 这一种非常简约、非常省钱而简单的生活。
Okay, we are going to take a little bit of a break now, and we will be back in just a moment.
好，我们现在先休息一下，待会儿再回来。
Okay, when you write about your daily activities, you need to gather together your ideas on the topic before you begin writing.
好，那当你开始写作之前呢，首先你必须要先集结一些关于这个主题的一些资讯。
So in our writing activity, we are going to help you write an essay. And so we have some information about a person's daily activities, and we're going to add some details to the basic information and create an essay.
好，那在我们等一下进行的这个写作练习里面呢，我们要帮助你去写一篇这个简短的短文。那我们以下会有一些关于这个人的生活的一些活动的一些资讯。那我们将会再把这些资讯呢加入一些细节之后呢，我们要写出一篇这个短文。
So let's take a look at some pictures together, and then we're going to add details to these events by answering the questions in your textbook.
好，那我们首先呢，先来看一些图片。那在看完图片之后呢，我们来帮他加入一些细节啊，我们来回答一些问题啊，最后我们再来把它写成文章。
So let's take a look at our first pictures now.
好，我们首先先来看一下第一张图片。
So in this picture, we see a woman getting up. All right, and then in our next picture, we show a woman doing some exercises.
好，我们刚刚看到两张图片哦。第一张图片显示的是一位刚起床的一个女生哦。那这第二张图片呢，则是这个女生在做一些运动。
And so in order to write our essay, we need to make up a story about this person.
好，那为了要写出我们这个短文呢，我们首先要先把这两张图片串起来哦，然后编出我们的故事来。
And so first, why don't we give a name to this person? Let's call her Kara Zhang.
好，那我们先帮这个图片中这位女性取个名字啦，我们就叫她做 Kara Zhang。
And so then next, answering some of the questions in the book can help us make a story about Kara's life.
好，那接下来呢，我们来回答一些课本上提出来的问题哦。这些问题可以帮助我们去写出 Kara 的生活。
All right, so now the first question is, when does Kara get up in the morning?
好，那第一个问题啊，我们来问到的是 Kara 这是在早上几点起床呢？
So, Cher, when do you think Kara gets up in the morning?
Well, since she is a working woman and she must get up early, so I think she gets up at 7 o'clock.
Okay.
好，那我们知道了，第一个问题呢，问到的是这个Kara 几点起床哦？那我们知道 Kara 她可能是一个这个职业妇女哦，那她必须要早点起床，所以呢，她起床时间应该是在7点左右。Okay, so the next question shows her doing some Tai Chi exercise. So, when does Kara do Tai Chi?
Well, I think she must do the Tai Chi right after she gets up because she's a busy person, so she must start moving quickly as soon as she gets up.
好，那关于这个问题呢，我们会发现说，因为这个我们在问到说 Kara 她是什么时候来做太极这个运动哦？那因为她是一个很忙碌的人哦，所以她必须要很早起床哦，然后再做这个运动哦，所以我们说她应该是当她起床之后哦，她就开始做太极运动了。
All right, so now let me ask the last question in this section, and it says, why does Kara do Tai Chi?
Well, it must be because she wants to stay in shape. And I think she realized that it is important to exercise if you want to stay healthy and keep a good figure. OK， 好，下一个问题呢，我们问到的是为什么 Kara 要做太极运动呢？那这可能是因为她希望能够保持好的身材啦。我想她应该是已经这个体会到说，要运动你才能够保持健康更好的身材。
So were your answers the same as ours? It's okay if you had different answers because when you're writing an essay, everyone will come up with their own ideas. So just use your own ideas when you're writing your essay.
好，那当各位同学你们的答案如果跟我们刚刚说出来的不一样的话，也没有关系，因为呢，当在写作文章的时候呢，每个人都有自己不一样的想法，所以呢，不一样的答案是非常 OK 的。
Now let's go back to the essay that we were working on.
好，那我们现在呢，再回到我们刚刚在做的练习。
And so now, if we took the answers that we got, we can create an essay that begins like this.
好，那如果我们把刚刚得到的答案呢合起来，我们就会得到这样子的一个开头。
Kara Zhang gets up every morning at 7 o'clock.
好 ，Kara Zhang 每天早上7点起床。
After she gets up, Kara does Tai Chi for half an hour because she wants to stay in shape.
起床之后呢 ，Kara 会做半个小时的太极，因为她希望能够保持身材。
So you can see that we used a time expression, 7 o'clock, and we had some adverb clauses that show what Kara does in the morning.
好，你会在这个句子中发现呢，我们用到了时间的表示方式，也就是这个7点哦。那我们后面也有一些所谓的副词子句来表示 Kara 在早上做了什么。
All right, let's continue by taking a look at some more pictures about Kara's day.
好，我们接下来再继续看一些照片关于这 Kara 的一天。
All right, and so this is a picture of Kara getting dressed for work.
好，这张图片显示是 Kara 正在穿衣服，准备好要去上班。
And the next picture shows Kara putting on some makeup at home.
好，那下一张图片呢，显示的是 Kara 正在化妆。
And so our first question is, when does Kara get dressed?
Okay, I think it's 8 o'clock.
Okay.
All right. The next question is, when does Kara put on her makeup?
So this must obviously be after she gets dressed. All right, and then our last question, why does Kara wear makeup?
Okay, I guess that's because she wants to look more fashionable.
Right, so now if we take these answers, we can make up a pair of sentences like this one.
好，我们刚刚呢这个做了一些问答哦，那根据刚刚的答案，我们会得到下面这个句子。
Next, Kara gets dressed for work at 8 o'clock.
好，接下来 Kara 在早上8点的时候穿好衣服准备上班。
She puts on makeup after she gets dressed because she wants to look more fashionable at work.
好，她在着装完成之后开始化妆，因为她希望去上班的时候看起来更加时髦。
All right, let's take a look at some more pictures of Kara's day. So over here, Kara is buying a sandwich for breakfast. It looks like it's at a roadside stand.
好，我们看到这张图片呢，看起来 Kara 是正在向路边的一个早餐店买早餐呢。
And in our next picture, we see that Kara is waiting at the bus stop.
好，下一张图片我们看到 Kara 正在的公车站牌等待公车。
All right, so now let's answer some questions about these. So our first question, where does Kara buy breakfast?
She buy her breakfast at a sandwich stand. And next question, what does Kara usually eat for breakfast?
All right, it looks like she might eat an egg sandwich and have some milk.
Okay.
All right, and then our last question, why does she take the bus?
I think she takes a bus because it's cheap.
All right, and so let's take these answers and we'll make up this sentence. Kara usually buys an egg sandwich and a carton of milk for breakfast.
好，那根据我们刚刚讲得到的答案呢，我们来得出下面这样的一个句子。第一个句子我们提到说 ，Kara 通常会买一个鸡蛋三明治跟一盒牛奶当做早餐。
She buys her breakfast at a sandwich stand while she is going to the bus stop.
好，她在前往公车站的路上经过的三明治的摊子买她的早餐。
Kara almost always takes the bus because it is the cheapest way to get to work.
好，那 Kara 几乎每天都搭公车上下班，因为这是最便宜的方式。
All right, let's take a look at just 2 more pictures. So here, Kara is at a bookstore. You can see that she loves books.
好，我们看到下一张图片Kara 她现在在书局里面可以感觉她应该是蛮喜欢书本的。
All right, and our next picture here, we can see that Kara must work at a bookstore.
好，下一张图片看到 Kara 在搬动书那她大概是在这个书局里面工作。
All right, so our next question is, where does Kara work?
Of course, she works at bookstore.
And then why does she work at a bookstore?
She loves books.
All right, and so if we put these answers together, we end up with Kara works at a bookstore because she loves books, especially English books.
好，那根据我们刚刚得到的答案呢，我们写出这个句子。我们说 Kara 在书店工作因为她喜欢书本，特别是英文的书籍。
All right, so far we've given you some examples of how to make sentences out of the bits of information about Kara.
好，那到目前为止呢，我们已经学到了一个方式就说如何在这个简短的资讯里面呢，我们可以把它写成一篇文章。
So now see if you can make up sentences about the rest of the information about Kara on your own.
好，那希望各位同学回去可以练习一下靠自己来把接下来的问题完成。
And then you can see an example of our completed essay in the supplemental magazine.
好，那你也可以看到我们这个一个完整的一个写作范例那在我们的杂志里面。
So thanks for joining us this week for English composition, and we look forward to seeing you again next week.
谢谢各位同学今天的参与，我们下周再见。
洲际杯棒球赛没有抽中 iPhone 吗？
华视广州亚运特别报道，大手笔再加码 ，iPhone 4手机天天送。
即日起到11月26号，每天锁定华视频道，
抽 iPhone 4，为中华队加油！
接着为您播出《早安今天》。